From lipo to breast implants, plastic surgery is not just the must-have for some of the rich and famous, but for everyday Americans. In 2008 alone, Americans spent over $10 billion on cosmetic procedures. But expensive price tags have led to people taking matters into their own hands, literally, with do-it-yourself, personally injected fillers, bought on the internet, or traveling thousands of miles to seek out black market back alley unlicensed doctors. Sadly, these beauty blunders come at a cost of a different nature, like disfigurement, and in some cases, even death. So beware, when it comes to plastic surgery, unfortunately, you get what you pay for.
Okay, I have an interesting story. A lot of people think that I wear colored contacts, but my eyes are naturally green. I was born with actually gray eyes, and when I was born, when I opened my eyes, my mom screamed. She was like, "Who is this, a demon? What's going on?" Because my eyes were very, very bright. They later turned green as I got older. But a couple of years ago, I had an assistant, and she was like, "Can I give you a suggestion, Tyra?" And I said, "Sure." And she said, "We should do something called Tyra eyes, where you actually sell your eye color, like contact lenses." And I was thinking it was not a great idea, but I was, being polite, and I was like, "Oh, okay, so you're saying that somebody would come in and analyze my eye color and then recreate it and sell contacts?" And she goes, "No, we would just take your colored contact and copy that." And I was like, "Wait, how long you been working for me? And you think I wear contacts?" I thought it was crazy. To this day, I'm like, I cannot believe we've been working together that long. You think I have contacts? I used to laugh about that with her a lot. So we've all heard of colored contact lenses, okay? If you want to change your eye color, you get colored contact lenses. I mean, they've been around since, what, the 80s? Early 80s, you think? Maybe 20, 30 years? But I have never heard of this, okay? There is a surgery that you can get to change the color of your eyes. A surgery. Take a look at this photo. This woman had her eyes altered from brown to blue. Not the best picture, but you can kind of see that they're blue in that picture, and that's not a colored contact. Okay, this is Shanice. Hi, Shanice.
Hi, nice to meet you.
I'm looking at you now, and that was you in that picture. I don't see blue eyes.
Yeah, okay, basically I went to Panama 4 months ago to get a new color iris implant, which where they lifted a layer of my eyes and pushed a colored implant inside my eye on top of my brown color iris. After that, 8 days later, I went back to the UK, and the doctors told me that I needed to remove it because there was a risk that I was going to go blind.
So that's your eye?
Yeah.
And that's the fake color blue on it?
Yeah.
Okay, so but this was a spontaneous thing that you came up with. You were thinking about cutting your hair.
Yeah.
Tell me that.
Well, I wanted a dramatic change. I was sitting down thinking, what can I do to myself that I could change permanently, that I would be happy with? So I thought of cutting my hair really short, but then I didn't want to take the risk of it coming out wrong and not looking right. So I thought, because I have good features and nice eyes, I thought, why not enhance my eyes to enhance my features?
With surgery. Okay, but I've never even heard of an eye color. Have you guys heard of an eye color surgery? No. I've never heard of that. So how did you hear about something like that?
One day I was studying and something popped up on the TV commercial about laser eye surgery, so I thought maybe they may do permanent eye color change. So
yeah, we've heard of LASIK, like when they actually correct your sight
vision,
so that you can not be nearsighted anymore or whatever and be able to see, things.
I Googled permanent colored eye change.
Really?
And I researched from there, and I went and contacted the PA and found out whether I can get it done, whether I was suitable to get it done. He told me the procedures that I need to go through is to go to my eye doctor and get 5 different eye tests to find out whether I was eligible for the test. And he told me I've got to send a deposit to find out whether I could hold
a deposit.
the place.
How much money did you have to send in?
$3,500 US.
Okay, so you put this money down, you fly on down to Panama, you call the guy at the surgery center, he picks up the phone, and what does he sound like?
He sounds like he's just laying in bed eating his lunch. He sounded very... he didn't sound very enthusiastic that I was about to spend $8,000 plus.
Yes. How much savings was that for you?
That was about 9 or 10 years of my savings.
God. So after surgery, well, actually before surgery, you rushed through a back door of a building.
Yeah.
The doctors rushed you through a back door. It did not look like a hospital at all.
Yeah, basically, I met the doctor at the hotel before the surgery. He seemed very panicky and in a rush. And it was 20 minutes before he actually originally told me he was going to come the night before. We got in his car. It didn't have a license plate. And we went down through like a car park into a building that was supposed to be the hospital. Then we went upstairs. He checked my eye pressure and some few other eye tests. He put some eye drops in my eye. My eyes were very blurry. Then he told me to sign a consent form. He said, look, before you sign this, I'm going to tell you that it's in Spanish. And I don't speak a word of Spanish.
And your eyes are blurry.
Yeah, and my eyes are blurry.
And you signed it?
I did.
So during surgery, what's going on? What are you feeling? Are you feeling anything? Are you asleep? Do you wake up later? What's happening?
Well, he told me that there was going to be no pain, and he's going to play instrumental music, so I won't feel anything. I'm going to be under local anaesthetic, so I shouldn't feel any pain. As he started, I felt a very sharp pain. I screamed out, and I told him to stop. He said, don't worry, you need to keep dead still, otherwise I'm going to hurt you. At this point, he was already hurting me. I couldn't move because he had instruments over my eye, so I was worried that he was going to pluck my eye out. So all I had to do is keep very still. I was in so much pain I couldn't cry. All I could do is squeeze somebody's hand who was beside me.
My gosh.
This was another helper of his. That was over in about 10 minutes, which felt like an hour, and then he moved on to the left eye. It didn't hurt as much because I knew what to expect, but the whole procedure was very painful.
What about painkillers after? Did he give you anything after?
No, as soon as he finished the surgery, he literally rushed me to put my clothes on and rushed me out of the hospital. As I asked him for painkillers, as I was in so much pain, he told me I've got to go to the pharmacy to buy painkillers.
When you look in the mirror for the first time after the surgery, what do you see?
A blur. Just a blur. I couldn't see anything. As close as I went, my nose would be touching the mirror. I couldn't see the details on my face.
Ever able to see this eye, ever?
No,
Never.
Apart from just before they removed it.
You were blurry all that time?
Yeah.
And then did you have pain and everything?
I had a lot of pain. When I got back to England, I was in a pain for about a week after. I had gone to the doctors in the UK and they had advised me to remove it. That was the only time I actually got to see what was in my eye.
So they removed them, and then what was so now you're back to brown?
Yeah.
And then what was the damage? There had to be some damage.
There was a lot. I've now got cataracts in my eye. I've got an increased chance of glaucoma, and...
What's that thing on the whole thing? What is that?
The doctor in Panama cut a hole in my eye and he didn't tell me.
That's what that hole is, that puncture thing?
That makes me extra sensitive to sunlight and UV light and any car lights.
Whoa. Okay, and you're a student now?
Yeah.
And how is it like with reading and stuff?
Well, basically, I've been trying to read since then, but it's very hard to focus. I see what I don't see, and then it jumps. The letters jump. I have a lot of blind spots. If I'm looking straight ahead of me and a child runs underneath me, I can walk into the child because I don't see them.
So your peripheral vision, anything outside of that is like, can't really see. Board certified plastic surgeon Dr. Jay Calvert is here. Have you ever heard of this iris implant color change thing?
I have heard about it.
Really?
And I actually consulted one of my LASIK eye surgeons in my building in Beverly Hills, and we talked all about this before the show. And he has actually seen a patient, which I reviewed with him, who had had this procedure in Panama by the same doctor.
Really?
Absolutely.
The same quack?
Yes, and he said this is not an approved procedure. It is not accepted in his specialty. It's an operation where you're cutting the cornea off of the eye, you're inserting a disc which does not change its size. You know, the iris is like an aperture of a camera.
Yeah, it goes
It opens and closes depending on how much light comes in or out. This is a fixed aperture, so at night, if your iris dilates to let more, you can't see anything. So you wind up with a very dark vision. It's fraught with problems, and it's really nuts that people would get on a plane and fly somewhere for this procedure when it's so suspect on so many levels.
Shanice, why not colored contacts?
I've tried those, and I put it down to laziness, where I didn't go back to colored lenses. I don't always wear colored contact lenses. I just wanted to change something permanently about myself.
You wanted to wake up in the morning and go, ah. Wow. What have you learned from this?
I've learned it's a silly, silly mistake that I didn't research properly, and I should have spoke to a lot more people about it before I got it done. And I just regret it. It was just a waste.
Do you think that you will be blind soon?
No.
No?
No.
What do you think, Dr. Calvert? I'm not so sure.
Well, there are a lot of complications that are going to come from this, especially if she's already having problems with peripheral vision, light sensitivity. I think the chance of a corneal transplant is very high, and blindness is probably a possibility if it's not treated appropriately by somebody who knows what they're doing, a real expert who understands the anterior chamber and the cornea. This is a high-level problem.
I mean, the eye is like, you can't get them back. And I just was like, wow, I'm just so happy that you can see now and that you're alive. That you're alive. And you have beautiful brown eyes. Pretty brown eyes. You know that song?
Yeah.
You have beautiful brown eyes. We'll be right back. Over 10 million cosmetic procedures are performed a year in the U.S., and that's just the reported ones. There are tens of thousands of people that are getting plastic surgery from unlicensed black market doctors with terrible and sometimes tragic and deadly results. Shakia says that her black market plastic surgery nightmare almost killed her and left her body deformed and scarred for life. What surgery did you want? What did you want to change?
I wanted to make my butt big and my hips a little wider.
And so you did your research?
Yes.
And you found out that there is an implant, one that has been passed, that is used. Tell us about that one that you heard about.
I actually wasn't even thinking about any type of surgery before my boyfriend introduced it to me. He said a lot of strippers in Florida, they get the hydrogel injections, and the video girls, they get the injections, and it's all natural. Or you can take a chicken pill, and it's like a steroid that they give chickens to make it, but it's for chickens, and it makes your butt big if you're a human. And I said no. So he was talking about the hydrogel, and I said I'll research it, and that's when I Googled it, and I found the forum, and I found injections, and I chose to do the injections. It's more natural than the implants. It's hard. It's not like breast implants. It's
It's a solid thing, a butt implant.
It's solid, and it's like a tear shape, not like a round shape, and I didn't want that at all.
But you've heard that the plastic surgeons do the implant.
Yes,
the
that's
butt implant.
legal.
But the plastic surgeons do not do hydrogel.
No.
So you found out that hydrogel was illegal.
Yes.
Okay, so you found this person that said they'll do this hydrogel. So you go to Orlando, you fly to Orlando, right? And who do you go with?
I go alone.
You go by yourself?
You can't have anybody in the room with you at all.
Okay, that's what they said?
Yeah.
Okay, they said nobody in there with you. Okay, and the doctor shows up. Was it a doctor?
When you go on the forum, they tell you that it's a registered nurse, and that's what they tell you. You go on the forum and you post your information. You can't contact them. They have to contact you.
You can't contact them.
No.
Was that a red flag?
No.
Not a red flag?
It's
that you
illegal.
Can't Oh, so you knew that it was illegal?
Yeah, I knew.
So it was not a red flag because it's illegal.
Yeah.
So duh.
There was no there's no billboard for drug dealers. Like it's.
Woo, she knew it was really dirty.
Yeah.
Okay. Did you take painkillers or anything or anesthesia?
I was worried about the pain, and she told me to take 2 Percocets beforehand, about a half hour beforehand, so that the pain would be bearable. She said, you're still going to feel it,
How
but
did
the
you
pain
get a
will be bearable.
Percocet? You have to get that
I
prescription.
have scoliosis, so
okay. You have
I'm
some
on
pain from your scoliosis?
Yeah. But I didn't get a chance to take the painkillers.
So then she started, and tell me about how many needles did she use?
Well, first when she came into the room, I opened the door. The appointment was at 4 o'clock. I was supposed to take the Percocet at 3:30. She came at 2 o'clock. She knocked on the door. I opened the door. She just rushed in. I didn't invite her in. I didn't know who she was. I never saw a picture of her in my life. She busted in the room, and she looked through the room to make sure nobody was there. She called her security team, and she told them that nobody was in the room and she was going to start. I told her I was scared because I didn't get a chance to take the Percocet, and I was scared about the pain. And she said, "What? By the time we're like into it, the painkillers will kick in and you'll be all right."
So just take them now?
Yep, take them now.
And so you took your clothes off, you lay on the bed in the hotel room?
You lay on the bed. She marks you off 20 X's, 10 on each side, and then she sticks these long needles into the X's, and then she takes the syringe and puts the liquid in, and then she screws it onto the needle and she pushes it in.
What did it feel like?
It felt like fire, like you feel pressure and then you feel like explosion, and then it doesn't go away, and the more she did, the more it hurt, to where it just felt like somebody was just stabbing my backbone. And I kept on telling her, I was like, I can't take it anymore. I want to stop. And she's like, you know, everybody on the forum knows that you're coming to me, so I don't want to put my name on like half work. And we only did this side. We have to finish this side. And if you need a break, we'll give you a break, but we have to finish. Like, I can't put my name on this work right now.
Wow. So you said okay. And so she finished?
No.
No, you couldn't. The pain was too much. So you had to stop.
After 2 hours, I stopped.
How long was the procedure supposed to last?
45 minutes.
And it was 2 hours? And how much did she get through? One bun or both? Half?
1.5.
1.5. Okay, so the next day you're at the airport and then something happens with your vision. What happens?
When I got off the shuttle and they bring you right in front of the airport, and I'm getting off the shuttle and I'm looking, and it just, like, it's dark. Like, the darkness is closing in on my eyes. So I asked them if I can have a wheelchair, because there was a wheelchair right there, and they let me. So I'm going through the sliding doors, and I was so embarrassed. I didn't even want them to push me. So I'm going through the sliding doors.
Pushing yourself?
Myself. And I'm overworked. And the lady, I'm so tired. And the lady was like, can I help you? And she took my ticket, but she walked away. And I couldn't tell her that I needed help right now. And I knew it was over, like I knew I was gonna die, so I called my stepmother and I told her that something was wrong and that if something happens, tell my kids that I love them, that I worked hard, and that's why I was doing this. I wasn't doing it in vain. I just wanted to make more money with my profession. And that was it. Like, when I finally opened my eyes, like, I was on the ground in the airport and there was all these people like around me pricking me, and I had vital sign things on and all these people on me, and then I went back, and when I woke up I was in the hospital, and that's it. I don't remember anything in between.
You don't remember anything. And now then you were in the hospital and they didn't really know what was wrong. They let you go home, and then a couple days after surgery, you couldn't breathe. It felt like someone was sitting on your chest.
Yeah, at the hospital they said I was just dehydrated, and they gave me antibiotics for cellulitis. I told them about the surgery, and they said it was just cellulitis. We're gonna give you antibiotics so that it doesn't get infected. And I told my stepmom, I was like, something's wrong. I'm really sick. I'm really tired. I can't even make the kids cereal in the morning. Can you please watch them? And she took them on Saturday, and on Sunday, I woke up and I couldn't breathe. I couldn't catch my breath. I was laying down. There was no reason for me to be out of breath. I couldn't catch my breath, and my heart was pounding, and I just called 911, and they were taking too long. So I had my neighbor bring me, and I went to the emergency room desk, and I'm trying to tell them what's going on, and they're not registering, they're not listening to me, and I'm getting so tired from talking. I was like, listen, I need to sit down. You have to let me sit down. So they brought me in, and they took my vitals, and they just rushed me to the back. Like, they didn't take my name, anything, no ID, no nothing. They was like, get her to the back. I had a fever of 104. They said my vitals were through the roof. 6 doctors rushed in the room. They couldn't find out.
To die.
They couldn't find out what was wrong. They couldn't get me down. They put my feet in ice, everything. They couldn't help me.
We're going to take a break, and when we come back, we're going to talk about what happened when she went into that emergency room, because they had to cut her butt open. They had to slice her open. We'll be right back. I'm here with Shakia. Today we're talking about the black market with plastic surgery. So many people want plastic surgery but don't want to pay the money or want something that is illegal, so they go to the black market to get it done. Shakia has been through a nightmare, and it's a miracle that she is alive. She got hydrogel implanted into her buttocks, which is illegal. To get a butt implant, to get your butt to be bigger, the legal way, the board certified way, is to get these implants put into the butt. She ended up getting hydrogel injected into her butt and pretty much almost died. Now, you're at the hospital right now.
Yes.
And they rushed you in, and I know they had to cut you open.
Yes.
Now, they cut you open, and where did they cut your butt?
Yes.
Open. And what were they doing when they cut you open? What were they getting?
Well, they ran all these tests. They ran MRIs to see why I couldn't breathe. There's the pictures right there.
What is that? What are we looking at? That's your butt?
Yeah. They cut me open,
God.
and they scooped out the hydrogel, and then they stick gauze in to let it heal from the inside out, because if you just don't, that white stuff is gauze, and they stick it in every single day for 4.5 months, almost 5 months.
Just sticking it in your raw flesh?
Yeah.
Okay, so did you ever hear from that nurse again that did this to you?
Yeah, I called her when I was in the hospital to tell her what was going on, and she told me to go home. She said, you're fine, you're dehydrated, there's nothing wrong with you, this is normal, and go home, because then if you stay in there, they're gonna investigate me and I'm gonna get in trouble. And everything's gonna be all right. Go home, drink some Gatorade, take your antibiotics, and go home.
Drink some Gatorade?
Yeah.
Now, you didn't listen to her. You, of course, stayed in that hospital.
Yes.
Okay. Have you heard from her since?
Yeah, she contacted me a few times to tell me that she'll finish my surgery. She'll put more in. What I had left over, I didn't finish, and she said she'll give me that for free, and she'll put more in for the regular price. She said she doesn't give refunds, but she'll give me a discount.
She'll give you some more. And you said?
I said, no way.
You said no. Okay, so now you're at a point in your life where you have left your job.
And school.
And school. Because?
I just feel like everybody knows. Like, I don't even bring my kids to school anymore. I don't leave the house unless I have to. Like,
so somebody else takes them to school?
I get my groceries delivered to my house. Like, I don't go anywhere. Like, all I wanted was to make myself like better. Like, I didn't even have a problem with myself before, and I just wanted to like better. And I made myself so worse. Like, I was with somebody for 4 years, and they left me because I couldn't be intimate with him anymore.
I hear that when you have clothes on, you feel naked.
I do. I feel like everybody knows because it's there. Like, the scars are there. There's huge indentation.
Really? How deep did they have to go in to scoop out the hydrogel?
7 centimeters.
What is that, Dr. Calvert? How many?
That's deep. It's a couple inches.
A couple of inches deep to go in. Dr. Calvert, what is hydrogel? What is that? Is that something that is used for plastic surgery?
Well, hydrogel is a very general term. Something like the hyaluronic acid injections that we get for lips and the smile lines, that's all a hydrogel. And there are different types of hydrogel, and the volume that was required in your case was just way too much. I mean, it just
2,500
how much?
cc's.
I mean, that's a crazy amount of volume to put into
She wanted me
any
to
part
go
of the body.
4,000 at one time.
So, oh my God.
This is a hydrogel here, which I brought that is in large volume because I picked it up off the hardware store shelf, and you can see to inject it, it really has to be under some force. And this is what would be injected into, and this is exactly how it would go into a buttock or whatever other part of the body you want to put it into.
And why is this illegal to go into a butt?
Well, it's not illegal to put it into the butt. It would actually be an off-label use. For instance, let's say you took one of the FDA-approved fillers that we all know and love, and people go and get them in their face, and you said, well, I want to do that in my butt. Well, you would need to get probably 3,000 syringes of it to get the volume we're talking about here.
I see.
And the cost of that my cost on a cc of that material is about $200. So you're talking about an inordinate expense. This cost about 50 cents.
What do they use that at the hardware store? What would that be for something on the house?
You could use it for any kind of lubrication with a drill. You could use it for anything that you need to grease up and
oh my
move
gosh.
along.
Okay.
So hydrogels are cheap. And obviously there was a massive infection and probably some kind of embolism that occurred, and that's what when you were feeling short of breath, you were either just dropping your blood pressure.
What's an embolism?
An embolism is when the hydrogel is injected directly into a vein, and then it travels through the bloodstream and clogs up a portion of the blood flow to the lungs.
Oh, wow.
And that kills people on the spot, dead. You're there injecting, and everything just stops.
Okay. Well, I want to thank you for sharing your story, Shakia. Because there's a lot of girls that want a bigger butt and that want to do anything to get it. And I think the message is that if it's too good to be true, it is.
Yeah.
And nobody can see it. I can't see it. We can't see it. And I thank you for showing us your pictures. But after today and after this show dies down, and I do a lot of shows a year, so this will be one of many. And people will forget those pictures. And you need to live your life and be strong for those kids. Okay? Okay, we'll be right back. According to the American Society of Plastic Surgeons, nearly 1 in 3 people who have had cosmetic procedures do not bother to check their doctor's credentials before having work done. Savannah admits that she was so desperate to get her breasts augmented that she did not care who did it as long as they got the job done. And that's how she ended up in the hands of a black market plastic surgeon. So, okay, so you went and had the breast surgery done. How old were you?
17.
You were 17?
Yes.
And don't you have to be 18?
Yes, you do.
You have to be 18.
Yeah, I went to England and had them done, actually. I had my boyfriend, he was from England, and he said that he would pay for them if I came to England and spent some time with him.
Wow. And where were your parents? How did you get to England?
My mom, she was totally against the idea. She was absolutely 100% against it, didn't want me to do it. She thought my breasts were fine the way they were. She was okay with me going to England to see my boyfriend.
That's you before?
Yeah, that's me before.
Okay. So she was fine with you going to England with your boyfriend. So you wanted to get your breast done since how old?
Since I was about 13.
That young?
Yes.
Wow, very, very young.
Yes.
Okay, but you didn't, even in England, you have to be 18, right?
Yes.
Okay, and so only a board-certified surgeon would touch you if you're 18 and older.
Exactly. And I was ignorant to that fact because I was 17, you know? But I wanted them done so badly. I was just desperate to get them done.
So you knew all along it was not legit. And how did you know it was not legit, this doctor?
I mean, it only cost $3,500. When we went to the doctor's office, it was kind of shady. We found him online. There wasn't really any credentials in his office saying that he was certified or board certified.
So all the red flags.
Kind of red flags.
But you wanted this, so you just said,
I just wanted it so bad.
Okay,
you know?
so during surgery, you said it was the worst day of your life. Like there was some anesthesia, but
there was some anesthesia, but the entire time I could hear them talking, but I couldn't wake up to like say anything.
Yes.
And I could feel the incision in my belly button when they went through.
Wait, talk about the belly button, because I know there is an implant that goes through the belly button.
Yeah, the saline implant goes through the belly button, and then what they do is they pump the saline in. So when they were pumping the saline
okay, slow down. So they cut the belly button, and then they put an empty bag in the belly button?
Yes, they put an empty belly button.
And they push it through?
They push it through. And
to this area?
And then the empty bag is in your breast.
Okay.
And then they pump the saline in.
With a tube of stuff?
Yes.
Okay.
And I could feel them pumping the saline in, and it was like a tearing sensation. And I could just feel them tearing. Oh my God, it was, and I couldn't say anything, I couldn't scream. I could hear them talking, you know. It was just absolutely horrendous.
Wow. You said it felt like your skin was stretching. How long did it go on for?
It was about a 3-hour surgery.
3 hours. So then you came to and you saw your breasts for the first time and you took the bandages off. What they look like?
Oh, I was in the office, and before they bandaged me up, I got to see them. I just started screaming at them.
Wow.
What did you do to me? What did you do to me? What did you do to me? I mean, look at that.
It's like a boob on top of a
boob. Yeah.
Wow.
They didn't really go under the muscle, I think is what happened. It was just I was just screaming at them. I was like, give me my money back. What did you do to me?
And what happened to the doctor? Where are they now?
I couldn't find them.
You couldn't find them?
There was no way to find them.
Black market. They know how to disappear fast.
Exactly. They set up for like 3 months or something like that.
And then they
change. Disappear.
The cosmetic surgeon that reconstructed Savannah's breast, Dr. Peter Driscoll, is here. So
saved my life.
He saved your life. So you saw this unevenness, and when you opened her up, was it like chaotic underneath her skin?
You know, it was a nightmare. It was just when I went in, it was basically a train wreck of scar everywhere.
Oh.
I had to remove a lot of scar, some muscle, and some breast tissue just to get her to look fairly normal.
Wow.
So it was just a real nightmare for her.
What do you think about these black market doctors that are doing these to poor innocent people that just really, want to change?
There's no way to get them to stop. So the only way to fix this problem is to educate the public. What is the easiest way is to find out if a surgeon is legitimate. So it's shows like this to promote awareness to everyone.
It's really important. Thank you for being here. We'll be right back. What would you do if a doctor offered to do a procedure for you for free? Would that be a red flag that maybe he or she was not legit? Monica says that she didn't think twice when her doctor told her having laser hair removal would be free. Okay, so they said it would be free. How did that happen?
Well, I actually heard through a friend that this doctor was doing laser hair removal through the insurance. I'm young. I'm 21 years old. I had no idea that insurance doesn't cover laser hair removal.
Yeah, it's too cosmetic.
I had no idea. So I just jumped the gun and I was like, hey, I'm going to go for a consultation and find out about this. I just have full coverage. Why not? What I got to lose?
So you showed them your insurance card when you got there?
I showed up with my insurance card. They took the photocopies. It looked like a legit doctor's office.
Got it.
You know, it was on a main street of doctor's offices.
Now, just cut to the future, just real fast before we get into your story. Later you found out that they billed your insurance, but for something else.
Yeah.
What did they bill your insurance for?
For varicose veins.
Varicose vein,
Yeah.
like varicose vein removal, which is covered by insurance.
Which is covered by insurance.
Okay.
I don't have that.
So you wanted to get your underarm hair lasered off.
Yes.
Tell us your story about your weight loss and stuff.
I actually lost 120 pounds.
Wow.
I've had the gastric bypass procedure done. And for me, it was just something that I wanted to do for myself. I would get razor rashes. I know all the girls know about this. You know, you get razor rashes, you got to shave every day, you know, for the stubs or, you know, ingrown hairs. And I just felt, hey, it's free. Why not do it?
Got it.
And I was even going to do the downstairs area, but thank God I didn't.
Well, thank God you didn't. Okay, so the day, what happened on the day? They put cream on your armpits?
Well, what happened is I went into the room, he had me put on some goggles, and he didn't even disinfect the area, which for me was very strange and odd. And I even asked, I put on some deodorant earlier today. Shouldn't you clean? No, you'll be fine. You'll be fine, don't worry. Goes into the cabinet, takes out a cream and says that it's an anesthetic to numb the area. He's a doctor. I listened to him, you know? So I just lied there and let him put on the cream, and that's when he read a paper, which also red flag, like you said.
What do you mean he read a paper?
He read off of a paper, literally when he was taking the cream out.
Like, wait, how do I do this laser surgery?
Like,
let me see.
Exactly, that's the feeling that I felt. I'm like, okay, wait, this is weird.
He's reading instructions.
Reading instructions on how to put on this machine. So I'm thinking, all right, maybe he's just going to look at the level. You know, through your head, you're just thinking that's what they're supposed to do.
So he starts lasering you, and what does it feel like?
The pain at first was tolerable because he started from the top down. So as he started to go lower, I felt more burning. And it started burning, and I'm like, doctor, this is burning. It's not, it doesn't feel right. And he's like, don't worry, stop exaggerating.
Stop exaggerating.
Stop exaggerating is what he told me. And
he's like, stop exaggerating.
Yeah,
like, step two?
Inside step two.
Okay. So you told him it felt like it was burning. He said, stop exaggerating. Then you started to blister.
Yes.
So a blister developed, and what did he do with that blister?
As he goes down to the, well, this is how it blistered. He actually, at that spot where I have that 3rd-degree burn, he actually said, this is a difficult area. And instead of lifting the laser, which is now how I find out they're supposed to do it, he literally rubbed laser into my armpit. And I can't explain the feeling that I had. It was just like a burn. I felt like my armpits were getting like branded. I was getting branded alive.
I heard he popped the blister.
He leans over and grabs a napkin, a wet napkin, and pops it. It was just the worst pain ever. And when he was like doing it on the other arm, like he got the napkins and was just patting it, it was just making it worse, and it was just horrible.
It was horrible. So then you walk into you call your friend and she takes you to the hospital. You're in the emergency room and they start treating her in the hallway, you guys. Again, something that is so crazy, it's like, just get her. And they discovered that you had 1st degree, 2nd degree, and 3rd degree burns. Yeah. So now, how does it feel like under your armpits? Like, you're normal human, we sweat. What does it feel like when you're like sweating and just like...
Well, for the show, I have like 3 pounds of napkins under my armpits.
Really?
I sweat easily, and it burns. To this day, this happened August 5th, and to this day, it burns. And up until about 2 weeks ago was when I was able to take off the gauze. But it was raw flesh, and it's gotten infected. Yeah. It was like an inferno that I would walk in, and my armpits would just ignite. It was just the worst.
With us is Monica's lawyer, Spencer Ehrenfeld. Now, from a legal perspective, is there anything that Monica can do legally?
Well, first of all, it's much easier to help clients like this prevent it from happening than try to help them enforce their legal rights once it's already happened.
Really?
So the key thing is, if anyone's offering to do an elective cosmetic procedure and bill your insurance, that's a tremendous flashing red flag.
Got it.
You should contact your insurance and say, wait a second, would you guys actually pay for an elective cosmetic procedure? For sure they're going to say no. do not trust for a moment what a doctor puts on his website, because anybody, including my 10-year-old daughter,
can
create a website.
Yeah.
So you need to contact the Department of Health in your state and make sure that this doctor is in fact licensed to practice.
Yeah. What about fraud? Fraud is illegal.
Fraud is completely illegal, and it's a crime. And if somebody tells somebody anything, like I'm going to do this procedure for you, and does another procedure, says I'm going to bill your insurance and doesn't bill your insurance, that's a crime.
That's a crime.
But contacting your Department of Health in your state, independently of whatever the person purporting to be a doctor says, is one important way to prevent yourself from becoming a victim. I think, in Monica's case, we don't know if the person who did her procedure is in fact licensed to practice medicine.
Yeah. It doesn't sound like they are.
Or has any training or insurance.
We'll be right back. We've heard about the dangers of black market surgeries, but Erin says that she only has herself to blame for her do-it-yourself hair disaster. So what happened to your hair, Erin?
It all started when I was about 19. You know, Beyonce came out with her beautiful blondish colored hair, and I wanted to do it myself, so I went to the store, bought me some dye, and tried to color it myself, and my hair was down my back. And when I tried, you know, I colored it, and I got in the shower, and I guess the ammonia was too strong for my hair. So as I started washing the dye out, I had clumps of hair coming out of my
Your hair was coming out too. And so your mom, she bonds her hair, so you figured, you know, bonding is like you put the glue on the scalp and you kind of put fake hair in it. It's actually a procedure. If done right, it can be a nice way to kind of, you know, make your hair look longer, thicker. So you tried to do this yourself,
I started bonding my weaves in, and as a result, I started pulling out my hair.
How did you pull your hair out? Why?
A lot of times I wouldn't be able to get the glue out. So I would get irritated and just take my comb and just start yanking.
Oh, because there's a solution to be able to take that glue bonding out that you have to use, and you have to wait, and you have to take it out slowly. So you get I just want it out.
Yeah,
so
yank it out. Get the pick and just start making it come out.
And it wouldn't grow back.
It wouldn't grow back. My hair became weaker and weaker, and it got to the point where it was just, I didn't want to manage my own hair. So I was doing that for a long time, just kept doing it.
So then you started wearing wigs, and then you can't seem to put those on right, the kind of wigs that you stick down with
I heard about the lace front wigs. You know, celebrities wear it a lot. So I figured that, you know, maybe I can try to do it. So I did it, and I guess wasn't my right cap size and stuff, so I would have to glue down the lace part on my edges instead of like around
on your actual hair.
On my actual hair.
Instead of on the skin.
Instead of on the skin. So I started gluing it on my skin, on my edges, and the first time I took it out, my hair, it was pulling my hair. I had to cut because I used the tape the first time, so I had to cut the tape from
your hair.
From my hair. And
how has this affected you now? Because I understand that your hair is, you have a wig on now? Oh, it's okay. It's okay.
I don't feel pretty anymore.
You have a wig on now, right?
I want to show you guys what it looks like because it's embarrassing for me. It's like I don't have any hair in the front anymore, and I don't feel pretty. I can't wear my hair in a ponytail. And it's so hard because...
Like right here, it's very thin around this edges here.
And even the back.
Oh, and the back is thin, too. And your hair is thick. You have some thick hair. I can hardly feel that scalp back there. It's like my texture. It's like thick hair. But then back here, it's very, up front, it's very thin.
I just ruined it so much, and I don't feel pretty. I don't, you know, when I'm with my husband, he doesn't want to touch my hair or anything because it's like he knows there's a wig there. And it's like it really affected me. I don't go out the house without a wig. You know, I don't want my husband to see me without my wig. And it's just, people always tell me, oh, you're so pretty, but it's like, my hair, I don't believe it because I feel like I'm only 22 and I shouldn't have to wear a wig.
It should be an option, not something that you have to do. Janine Barrett is here. She's a reconstructive hairstylist. How often do you see women with the issue that Erin has?
Very often.
Often, with the edges
often.
of the hair gone like that?
Yes, and that's because sometimes And unfortunately, she went to a professional. But sometimes people do it on their own to save money many times, and during these economic times. I see, you know, I feel for you, but I see it every day. I see it every day.
Well, she has some good news for you. We've arranged for Janine to fix your hair. She's going to fix it. Okay? Your hair is going to be transformed, okay? And she's going to, she's an expert. She's going to fix it.
Thank you so much,
You're
Tyra.
so welcome. And just to let you know, you said that your husband can't touch your hair. Most black women, when our men try to touch your hair, honey, get back. So that is a normal thing. Like, how many black women in the audience, when your man tries to touch your hair, you like, get back, get back. I see the hands up there. Yeah, because weaves, wigs, child, they ain't no business what they don't need to be touching our head. Unless they, you know, they touch it and it might come off in their hands sometimes. So that's a normal thing, okay? And if everybody wants to see how Erin's hair turned out, go to tyrashow.com. We'll be right back. It's going to be okay. We want to know how far you would go for beauty. If the eye color surgery was legal, say it was legal and it was pretty much safe, would you do it? Give us your opinion in our Extreme Beauty group on tyrashow.com. Fierce and love, everybody.